guys, welcome back to another video. This week I wanted to do a how much I realistically read in a week. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I enjoy watching these type of videos, like seeing how much other people read throughout their week. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Today's Friday, and I'm going to go for a full 7 days, so Friday to Friday, and I'm going to calculate how many pages we read at the end of each day, and then at the end of the week we'll see how many pages total we read. First book we're going to be reading in this video is Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. I actually have already started this a couple days ago. I'm already 100 pages in, and it's kind of really slow right now. It's about Evie Drake, who is recently widowed, and she's living in her huge house, dealing with, the recent events of the past year. And then her best friend asked her if she would be willing to rent out the apartment that she has at her house, just to make extra money, because he has a friend who kind of needs a place to stay. And it turns out to be a major league pitcher who can't really pitch anymore. Like, he's kind of has to retire now. He's lost his touch and needs to get out of the city and away from the media. So she agrees, and Dean moves into her apartment. They kind of become friends and who enjoy spending time together, but they also made a deal not to talk about, like, not to ask each other about, she's not going to ask him about baseball, and he's not going to ask her about her husband. But obviously there are some lines that they do cross, and yeah, basically right now they're just being friends. This is mainly fiction. I guess the romance is going to be the subplot, but I am enjoying it right now. I love the setting. It takes place in Maine, in a small town, and I love that. I love coastal vibes. It's perfect for this time of the year. So we're going to read some more of this one today. Just got to chapter 18, and there's been like I said earlier, it's mainly a fiction, and they're basically just hanging out and being friends, which I think is great. And there hasn't been any sort of romantic connection at all between either of them. But she went with him to Boston to pick up a pinball machine because he really wanted one. And they get back, and she's making them grilled cheese, and he says, "I thought about kissing you a couple times today." And she was so caught off guard. And she basically is like not ready to dive into something like that, especially because they're becoming such good friends, and because of like her husband dying, and she just doesn't want to ruin anything between them. And she said, but maybe later. Um, she's like, I don't want to rush into anything and regret it now. And he's like, okay, but you'll have to let me know when I can go. And you're gonna have to give me the go sign. And she's like, oh. And she's like, well, what should it be? And he was like, just go. So basically, he's gonna wait for her to be like, okay, go. And then he can make his move. And I don't know why I really like that. Like, they talked about it. Maybe because they're both adults. I don't know. I just really liked that. It kind of made me feel giddy reading that scene. I don't know if you can tell by my voice. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading. Okay, it is now the next day, and I did end up finishing Evie Drake Starts Over last night. Um, and I calculated how many pages I read of this, and it was, so I read 177 pages of this and finished it, and I gave it a 4.5. In case you're wondering, I just really loved the town, the setting. I really liked Evie and Dean's relationship and also their friendship first, and then their relationship. I thought it was just like really sweet, and it was kind of more quiet. Like, I honestly didn't expect this to have as much romance in it as it did, but I mean, I'm not complaining. So I gave this one a 4.5, and I really do want to read more by this author. And then I ended up starting Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. It took me a minute to figure out what I wanted to read, but I read 28 pages of this. So combined, I read 205 pages yesterday, which honestly is pretty good. So today we're gonna be reading some more of Something Wilder. Not much has happened. I think that there's gonna be like two different. Well, I'm gonna assume maybe two different timelines, because you don't know what happened between Leo and Lily back in the day. Like, you get like the first, like, the prologue is like 10 years ago, and they're like happily together, and then the present timeline, they're not. So I wonder if it goes back and forth. So far, it's not, but we have to find out what happened, right? So, I love Christina Lauren's writing. It's just so fun, and this one just has like a really fun plot, and I love Christina Lauren's writing. So we're gonna continue this one today. Okay, it's Sunday, and I'm still in my pajamas, so excuse that. But I have been reading Something Wilder all morning. Willow. I have been reading Something Wilder all morning, and some crazy things happened in this. I thought this was just gonna be like a fun little romance, second chance romance. No, we're in the Wild Wild West. Some crazy things are happening. Literally crazy. I was not expecting any of the things to go down in this that did it. Anyway, but I am having a great time though. But today I started at I think I started at 178, and I've read about this much. I'm on 309 now, so I've read quite a bit, and I think I have like 50, yeah, I have like 50 pages left, so we're gonna keep reading until we finish, and then I'll come back once I've finished it, and then we'll pick our next book. Okay, it's a couple hours later, and I did finish Something Wilder. Let me just say, that was quite an adventure. Honestly, I would definitely recommend this if one, you like Christina Lauren's writing and you haven't read this one yet. Definitely read it. Great little summer adventure, I would say, but there a little bit of high stakes in there. Honestly, I was not expecting. Willow, stop smelling the camera. I honestly wasn't expecting some of the situations that the main characters found themselves in. It's kind of crazy. So I've kind of been sitting on it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I forgot how much I liked their writing, and I need to read some more of their books. I also really want to reread Love and Other Words by them, but I think I'm gonna try and save like my other rereads until December. I think that's when I feel like December's like a good time, like the end of the year, to reread my favorites, just because I feel like throughout the year, if I haven't met my reading goal or anything like that, I'm like, I need to read other books and what's on my TBR. And then in December, I feel like I can chill and reread some favorites, read some Christmas books in between there. Anyway, that was a little off topic, but I'm trying to decide what I want to read next. Obviously we have options. I have Farrah McFarlane's new book, Cover Stories, The Arc, and I only got like 2 chapters in, I think, maybe 1 chapter. I really don't know how I feel about it, or if I want to keep going. I do have some other summary books on here, like The Hotel Nantucket, this new cowboy-ish romance series, Cash, the Lucky River Ranch series. I really have been seeing a lot about A Love Letter to Whiskey, but that one might be too much drama for what I'm feeling right now. I kind of just want like light-hearted rom-coms maybe. And we have quite a bit on here. I actually just added to it last night. I got this new hockey romance book. It's part of a series. I'm pretty sure it's going to be, if it isn't already. But I've seen this one on TikTok quite a bit, and this one says, after being dumped on her 21st birthday, Bailey James rebounds right into the arms of her ex's biggest competition. So that sounds intriguing. It's also like a huge book. Like, it's 500 pages, over 500 pages. But I am always down for a good hockey romance. I'm a sucker for them. I also got Elisa Sussman's new book, Totally and Completely Fine. I haven't even read her other 2 books, The Funny You Should Ask and whatever the other one is. So I don't even know if I like her writing. I just keep buying her books because the covers are pretty, which I need to stop. I actually need to read the other ones. But I kind of want to try to read what's on my actual TBR, the books that I picked for July, but I don't know what kind of mood I'm in. I'm always in a romance mood, honestly. So we could do like a regular fiction. This is Main Characters by Hannah Orenstein. This one I don't think has romance in it. If it does, it's probably a side plot, but I don't know, it's about two sisters. We have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I do really want to read this one. I have a YA dystopian, which honestly I could see myself reading this. I think because it's a dystopian novel and it's YA, I think I have the brain power right now to read it. So this could be an option. And then the last one I have on my TBR is The Man Made of Smoke. This is like a mystery thriller, and I don't think I'm in the mood for this quite yet. Also, I'm home alone today. It's Sunday, and my fiance just went to work, so I don't really want to read a mystery or thriller when I'm home alone. So, we're gonna put that one back. And then this wasn't from my TBR video, but this is my book of the month pick for July, and it's The Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. And this one is like a regular fiction, I think. It's about a wealthy New England's family long overdue reckoning and the one week that threatens to tear them apart. I feel like that sounds very intriguing. So we have two fictions. This kind of almost seemed mystery-ish, but I think it's just fiction. I don't know. I'm gonna make a decision really quick, and then I'll come back when I figured out what I want to read. I still don't know what I want to read. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I just don't know what I'm in the mood for. I've even resorted to like looking what's on my actual shelves that I haven't read yet. I'm gonna try to start this one, and we'll see if I'm feeling it once I get a couple chapters in, and I'll update you guys if I end up switching to another book. Oh, also, I don't know if I said how many pages I read already today well, actually I need to update yesterday's pages and then what I've read so far today. So yesterday I read 150 pages of Something Wilder, and then today I finished Something Wilder and read 183 pages. So, and whatever I read today I'll add to that number. So I'm gonna go try to read this. Okay, I ended up changing what I wanted to read. I don't know if I said that, but I started Cover Story by Bard McFarlane on here, and I forgot that ARCs don't tell the page numbers. So what I'm gonna do is just calculate like the percentage number with how many page numbers there are. Like Goodreads says that there's 384 pages in here, so I'll just do like, right now I'm 12% into the book, which I didn't bring my phone in here. But I'll just do like whatever percentage I'm in the book times 384, and that's how many pages I've read. So anyway, I'm on chapter 8, so I think I'm like in it enough to want to keep reading. So that is good. And also I decided to try Main Characters by Hannah Orenstein. I just wasn't feeling Red, White, and Royal Blue right now, so those are the two books that I'm currently reading, but I just wanted to update you guys about my decisions. Okay, so it's a little bit later now. I'm rewatching The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm getting ready for Wednesday. Anyway, I'm getting ready for Wednesday. I'm rewatching everything. I'm on season 2, episode 4. And I'm very excited, but also very nervous. Because I'm kind of worried. If she doesn't choose Conrad, if Belly doesn't choose Conrad, I will riot. Like, I have a feeling she's either choosing Conrad, like she should, or she's choosing Summer. She's choosing herself. And if she does that, then I will have some beef with Jenny Han. Seriously, it better be Conrad. Okay, anyway. I am still reading Cover Story. I'm 21% into the story now, and I don't know why. I don't know how I feel about it, basically. I have read one other book by Laura McFarlane before. I read it last year, and it was Just Last Night. And I think her books are mismarketed. I don't think they're romance at all. I mean, granted, I've only read one other one, but all of her books are in the romance section. And Just Last Night was definitely not a romance book. I think I ended up giving it a 3-star, but I really just didn't enjoy it. I just didn't like the characters or the plot. Like, I don't know, I just didn't have a good time. And this one, the premise of this one was really intriguing to me, and I also, because it was just one book, I wanted to try another one of her books. I wanted to read more than one book by her, just to give her like a fair shot. So this will be my second book by her, and I'm definitely enjoying it more than Just Last Night. But again, I don't think her books are romance. I think they're general fiction with a subplot of romance. And I've heard people say this before. And I think that's what happened with Just Last Night, is that I went into it thinking that it was going to be a romance. And it's not at all. I don't consider it to be. So, anyway. But this one, I don't even know, like, I can't even explain what this is about. This is about Belle and Connor. Belle works at this, like, media place. Like, she does podcasts and, like, investigative journalism. Is that what you would call it? I don't know. She's joined the tiny Manchester office of a national paper from her indie podcast. And then Connor starts as the new intern, and obviously they can't stand each other. She has her own premonitions about him and vice versa. And honestly, I don't like when that happens. Like, it happens well, to be fair, it happens in a lot of romance books where the two main characters don't like each other and are just judging each other based off looks or like one interaction, which I don't really love. I don't like this little thing on the TV. It's kind of bothering me. There was one line in this, like, oh my god, there was one line in this that I just was like, a woman wrote this. Connor was like stalking Belle's friend's Instagram and found a picture of Belle on the Instagram. Attractive. She was wearing this really distracting top, and even for someone of Connor's maturity and age, still got his attention. And I'm like, why is he written like he's like the hot shit? Anyway, that bothered me. And then right after that, he says, her combination of a scoop-necked top and balcony bra, a little distracting, even to a man of Connor's taste and maturity. Lovely cleavage, shame about the personality. What? I honestly see nothing wrong with her personality. I mean, like, he didn't even know her. Like, they just met. They work in an office. Like, they're co-workers. So I really did not like that. That's the only thing that I haven't really enjoyed about that. Anyway, so now Belle has been emailing with someone that has like an inside scoop of some gossip that's going on, some like political thing is happening with someone in higher politics is doing some bad things, and she's got an inside source, and she's gonna be writing about that and going undercover to get the scoop. And so when she's undercover working for this inside scoop that she's getting, she bumps into Connor, and so she ends up pretending that they're dating while she's undercover, I guess, to save her cover. She's basically discussing the undercover situation with her inside source right now, and then that's really all that's happening. There's another thing about Laura McFarlane's writing that is very hard for me to understand, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm pretty sure she's from Scotland or something, and normally that doesn't like affect anything, but I feel like the way some words are just put together, I have no idea what she's trying to say. And it's not even like it's like a Scottish term or something. Like, it's just the way words are put together. It's just like not how you would speak in the US. And I feel like that's like hindering me. Like, I feel like that is kind of, I don't want to say ruining, but definitely affecting my reading experience, because I'm sitting here reading the same sentence over and over again because I feel like I'm dyslexic or something, like trying to read these words and trying to make the sentence make sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's just something I noticed. And I remember thinking that with Just Last Night also. So I wouldn't consider Just Last Night a romance. I have a feeling that this one's not going to have much romance in it. But there's already more, I feel like there's already more romance in this than there was Just Last Night. Just from what I remember. Not romance, but like, you know that there's kind of like tension between her and Connor, and like they hate each other, rivals in the workplace. But I don't know, we're spending a lot of time on this like inside undercover thing, and I'm just like, it's intriguing, but also I'm kind of bored. So anyway, I haven't even opened main characters. I don't think I'm going to, unless I just get really bored reading cover story. Then I'll try to read this maybe. But I am trying to get like a good chunk done out of cover story before I like fully decide if I want to keep reading it or not. So we're gonna keep doing that, and then I'll let you guys know if I have any more thoughts. I didn't film any talking updates from Monday, and today is Tuesday, a long day at work, and then I went to the gym, and that's where I got most of my reading done yesterday. So yesterday I read 246 pages of cover story by Vari McFarlane, and then, which is a lot. I'm actually genuinely surprised that I read that much. And then this morning I went to Pilates at 5:30 this morning, and then there's a park nearby where the Pilates studio is, and normally it's really close to my work too, so normally I'll just like go straight to work from there. But since it was still like 6:30 in the morning, I went to the park, and it wasn't hot outside yet, so I sat out and read a good bit, and then one of my favorite coffee shops nearby opened at 7, so at 7 I went over there and got a coffee, and then I sat outside on their like pretty outdoor patio, and I finished cover story by reading 114 pages. That's what I had left, and I don't want to say too much about it. If you want like my full review and thoughts, I did post my review on my Goodreads. I'll link it. It's always linked in the description below if you're interested in like my full thoughts. But I think I'm going to give it a 2-star. They don't kiss, and by the way, the kiss is part of their fake dating thing. They don't kiss until 95% of the way into this book. I had 5% left in the book, and they kissed. Like, this is not rom-com. I was reading like a lot, like the description on Goodreads. It says this rom-com. There's no rom in it. It does have some humor in it, and I feel like the humor, because I think Vari McFarlane's from Scotland or something, but like that type of humor is definitely in these books, and it is funny. I think Belle was like a very funny female main character, and there are times I was just like, oh, that's funny. But there's no romance. This is not a rom-com. It's just a com, if you will. So that's my main issue with it. And then some of the things that Connor said just like rubbed me the wrong way. Like there are some like sweet moments at the end in the last 5% of the book. when they realized that they actually liked each other. But it just, some of the nice things that he said just didn't outweigh the negative things. So like the negative things stick out more in my head. Just the way he thought about Belle and like looks and stuff. I just wasn't vibing with it, honestly. And I I know I'm mad saying that I wish there was more romance in this. So don't get me wrong, I do wish there was. And if there was more romance, I probably would be rooting for Belle and Connor to end up together. But because there wasn't, I literally did not care. By the 90% mark, and then they finally kissed, I was like, I don't even see it anymore. I don't even care, honestly, if y'all want to be together, because y'all made me wait this entire book to do anything. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. I feel like if you like Varda McFarlane's books, or if you just like a little bit more fiction with a very tiny, tiny, tiny subplot of romance, and this has a little bit of fake dating in it, but don't expect the normal things you get from a fake dating trope, because it's not it. Their fake dating is like strictly work, like they're not doing anything else. Like they're skiing in public together, and that's it. Okay? And I think, or if you do want to give it a try, like if the plot is interesting to you, just go into it with an open mind. It's more fiction than anything. And I feel like also like the story that Belle and Connor were covering was kind of had like a thriller mystery element to it, honestly, which I thought was kind of interesting. And at some points, I was more interested in that than I was like Connor or Belle, like their story. Like I kind of I liked the part of the plot that had to do with their jobs, not their actual romance and feelings and all that stuff. So, anyway, I'm glad that I finished that one. I thought that one was going to take me a while. This morning before I went into work, I started a couple pages of main characters because I really do want to read this before the summer's over. I really don't have any thoughts. I'm only 14 pages in. We just found out that these two sisters have never met each other until they spent like separate summers at this cabin with their dad, but one of the sisters knew about the other one and the other one didn't. So when the one, like his main family, that he was always with, the dad, when he died, the daughter came up to his house, I guess, to look at things, like what he had left, and there was some other woman there, and she was like, who is this? And the woman comes out and knows who Vivian is. Vivian is one of the sisters, and Lucy is the other one. She's the one that knew that her dad had another family and that she was kind of more like the side. They both had completely different experiences with their father. So Vivian finds out that she has a half-sister, basically. And that's all that's happened. I am intrigued. I feel like I read those 14 pages pretty fast. So I feel like I could get a good amount done tonight. Who knows? We'll see. I'm going to go take a shower because I feel disgusting after Pilates and then going to work this morning. Probably do some laundry, and while I'm loading the laundry, like waiting for it in between cycles, I'll probably try to read some more. So I'll be back either when I've made more progress in main characters and have some thoughts, or you'll see me tomorrow with how many pages I read today and then what we're reading tomorrow. I'm back for another update. It's actually Wednesday now, so I did read a couple more pages last night before I went to bed, so I don't know if I read any after I updated yesterday. I think I read a couple pages, but I got to page 90 in main characters yesterday. So that means we read 204 pages total yesterday, which was Tuesday. So today is Wednesday. I've been very busy today. I haven't read anything today. I've been super busy. It's now it's almost 8 o'clock. But I didn't get home until like 6:30. I went to Pilates after I got off work. And then today is Wednesday, July 16th. And summer I turned pretty came out today, the first 2 episodes. I had to lock in and binge those 2 episodes. And yeah, that is why I haven't read anything today. And I'm like really tired. I woke up at 5, woke up at 4 a.m. yesterday and went to Pilates, and then today I woke up early and went to the dentist and then did Pilates after work, and it's just so hot and humid outside that I feel like the heat just like takes even more energy out of you, if that makes any sense. So I just feel really tired, but I do want to read at least a couple pages in this before I fall asleep. So we might be like just reading it in bed. That's my plan. I also really need to take a shower. I feel super sweaty. So I'm probably gonna take a shower first and then get in bed and read for the rest of the night. Okay, it's now Saturday. I didn't film anything. I didn't read anything on Thursday. I don't know why. Just didn't. So I'm just going to recap right now what I read. So Friday, which was yesterday, I read 200 pages of... Actually, did I even say what I read on Wednesday? I don't know, because I didn't update on Thursday. So on Wednesday, I read 64 pages of main characters, and then Thursday I didn't read anything, and then Friday, which is yesterday, I read 200 pages of main characters, which finished the book for me. So we're gonna total all these up, and then I'll do like a little recap of what we read this week. Okay, so all in all, I read 1,308 pages this week, which I feel like is pretty good. I had a pretty good reading week. Sometimes I don't read this much in a week. Just depends on like what I'm doing, like work-wise or just other things going on. So I feel like I wasn't really that busy this week, so I had time to read a bit more than normal. So I'm gonna go through each book that we read this week and then the pages that I read, and then do like a little recap of like, not my thoughts, but like what I rated them. So on Friday, we started off with Evie Drake Starts Over, and I read I think I finished this book on Friday, so I read 177 pages, and I really liked this book. I gave it a 4.5. Like, it just took me by surprise. I really liked the romance that we got in here, I didn't expect it to have as much romance in it as it did. But I really enjoyed it. I loved Evie and Dean, like their relationship. There was no like frustrating part for me because they were both like adults and communicated. And I really appreciated that because I feel like in a lot of romance books you don't get that, even if they are adults. But I really enjoyed that. And I do want to read more of her books. It was also a great read for like late July. So I highly recommend this one. I started Something Wilder by Christina Lauren after I finished that one, and I read 28 pages of this one. So that ended up being 205 pages total for last Friday. And then on Saturday, I read 150 pages of this. And then Sunday, I finished it up with 183 pages. So this one I gave a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of just like very entertaining and almost silly in a way. I was not expecting like the chaos that happens in this, honestly. Like, really fun read, honestly. If you like one of the like treasure hunt with some high stakes in a romance, then you would probably like this. And I'm really glad that I read it. And then after I finished this one, I read Cover Story on my Kindle by Vari McFarlane, and I read 153 pages. And this is where I don't know if this is correct or not. But I read it over Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, so I don't know the exact pages. Then Sunday, my total pages read was 336. And then on Monday, I read 246 pages of cover story. I don't think that's true. It's probably more like one something, like 146. And that's all I read on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I finished this book with 114 pages. Again, I don't know how true that is, but I know it totaled to be 400 for this whole book. And I gave this one a 2.5 star. I just realized this is my second book by Vara McFarlane, and it's just, I wanted to give another one of her books a chance before I decide that she's just not an author for me. And this one really solidified that for me. Anyway, not my fave. Not my fave, and I probably won't read any more of her books, honestly. They're just not for me. Finished that on Tuesday, and then I started Main Characters, and I read 90 pages of this. And this is actually a pretty fast-paced book. Like, I flew through those 90 pages. I honestly wasn't expecting that. And then, so my total for Tuesday was 204. And then on Wednesday, I read 64 pages. And that's all I read. Thursday, as I said earlier, I read nothing. And then yesterday, I finished up this book with 200 pages left. So, my thoughts on Main Characters. I actually didn't have high expectations for this, honestly. It's not that I've seen, like, bad things about it, but I just honestly wasn't, like, thinking, I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it as much as I did. I think this is a great late July to August read. And it's fiction. There's actually a bit more romance in here than I thought. The two sisters, this is about two sisters who have never met. And their father dies, and that's the circumstance under which they meet. And they had two very different experiences with their dad. One, she grew up with him, like, one of the sisters, he was always very cold and distant. They didn't have the best relationship. And then the other one, she, like, loved him. Like, they were, like, best friends. Like, they always had a great time together, and he was very loving and paternal towards her. So they have, like, that kind of, like, there's, like, tension between them because they both have different experiences with it. They used to go to his lake house during the summers, like a different month in the summer. And Vivian, who grew up with him, who didn't have the best experience with him, wants to sell the lake house, but Lucy doesn't because it means so much to her and it meant so much to her dad. So they have that little problem going on. And then they also have relationships, like Vivian has, like, situations going on from, like, back in New York with her, like, dating wise, and then Lucy is just recently divorced or getting divorced, and so she's struggling with that. And then also, like, her dad dying, you know, and finding out, like, and then, like, meeting her half sister. I don't know, I just really liked the setting. I liked just reading about these two characters going through what they're going through. This would have been perfect to read, like, on a boat or just, like, by a lake, like a body of water. I really enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 stars. These are all the books that I read over this past week, which honestly I'm very pleased with myself. This is kind of a lot. It's actually a pretty good amount. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!